In today's story, we learned that it doesn't matter if it's for kids or Disney. If a character has phenomenal cosmic power, they must have an itty-bitty living space. It's just a friendly sibling rivalry, all my fellow future outlaws. This is Card Games vs. Humanity, and I am the NAKAK Double G. This happens to be another recap of Yu-Gi-Oh! Have you noticed that maybe I like this game by now? I mean, the show's pretty great too. If you enjoyed, don't forget that sub, that bell, that like, become a member of the channel or the Patreon if you want to support me. Leave a comment telling me if you're ready for the single longest duel in the entire series, because of course anything that had a religious reference had to be at least 50% boring, 50% brutally exciting, and 100% taking too long to explain. But what doesn't take a long time to explain is Joey's everlasting desire to beat the crap out of small animals, even if at this point he knows that his friend Tristan is inside it. Luckily, this is a cartoon, and giving the monkey shaken baby syndrome is apparently the key to revealing the secret compartment hidden on its back. Joey says, "Ooh, what does this button do?" immediately pressing it and turning his best friend into an RC car that spins around them right round, baby, right round. Okay, I refuse to believe that she is sober. Yugi is the main character, so he doesn't have time for this bullshit and just presses the red button instead, revealing another secret door that conveniently takes them all to Kaiba Land as well. I think if they had asked these questions, I don't know, hours ago like a normal human being instead of playing a children's card game, we'd actually be farther along right now.
Blue eyes, white train approaching. Stand behind the white line.
Wow, Kaiba, you said this was all your design, right? I'm starting to pick up on some subtleties here. Even though getting on the train is a horrible idea, nothing in this world has ever worked out for him. But I was way too happy right now to be riding in his own Blue Eyes train to give it a second thought. I wish the writers would have given it a second thought to think that Noah and Mokuba still cuddling like this was a good idea. We head back to the gang who are following Tristan into the same secret area that Kaiba was just in. And all of a sudden he goes berserk, threatening our friends with toy guns that weren't even censored because that's how poorly designed he is. Unfortunately for the little robot buddy, Yugi and Joey definitely smell card games about to happen. They're running over the creature in a dramatic fashion, never to be seen again. Oh look, it's Kaiba, and he's enjoying his train ride right now, but he has to stop off at the local volcano for a snack. Too bad for him, this small child bought the last popsicle and says he must duel him now if he wants to claim it.
Noah, watch what you say.
As you can tell, Seto is very serious about his snack. Too bad for our unlikely hero, though, his threats fall on deaf ears. He no longer has the money in this world to screw the rules and finally find out who is the more superior person over a children's card game. Don't ask why I spent the last 20 episodes allowing the Big Five to try and do that for me. I'm still working on an answer. Just then, Seto does his best impression of the secret audio clip that he heard between Logan Paul and his fiancée.
Who are you? I saw your whole movie, and you owe me some answers.
Somehow the gang are already in the secret room that was only supposed to unlock for Seto earlier. Being very rude teenagers watching these Kaiba home movies without permission, mind you. Never mind any of that shit, because the Death Egg is descending down from the sky, aka the real Noah. An all-powerful being that's trapped inside this shell that happens to nourish and protect his brain. I mean, I guess it's a little sad. Yugi and Joey's nose for dueling cannot be denied, leading them right to the train tracks that Seto just used a few minutes ago. They don't have a train, but luckily they do have this rail cart that somehow wasn't smashed to bits when the Blue Eyes train came through. It's not like there was multiple rails.
This is real life, Joey!
Yeah, not with those fucking faces, it's not. You show me one human that's ever been able to do that. For some reason, despite his recent overpowered training, everyone decides to let Joey to be the one to control the rail cart, having the break in two with ease before everyone else's eyes get bigger than humanly possible for about 2 frames. Seriously? It took me like 4 tries to get that shot. A certain green-haired kid is still monologuing to his older brother that's not really, telling Seto how he used to be a normal kid just like him. Son of a billionaire that had servants at his beck and call. Academics that wanted to teach him how to be a well-rounded piece of shit president that abused his employees. Unfortunately, all that promise was taken away from him by a freak accident called death. My body was rendered useless, yet somehow my mind remained strong, even though that's definitely not possible unless they somehow saved me within minutes of the accident, and even then I'm kind of calling bullshit. So turns out his body's perfectly intact, but totally useless as well, so let's put him in the Saiyan healing chamber connected to a computer. I'm still calling bullshit.
It was the end of my former life and the beginning of my new life as a virtual being whose power is limitless.
Yeah, but still can't jerk off though. Noah tells Kaiba that he was just hired to motivate him to do better in his studies. Now that that's no longer possible and brown hair is much more acceptable than green, Gozaburo just kind of went with it. If only he could have predicted that someday they would be locked in battle and the winner gets to take Seto Kaiba's body out into the real world. But like everything else in this show, not after a children's card game first. By being the one that demanded answers, standing there the entire time like a good little boy listening to Noah tell a story that's actually the truth, Seto just says, LOL, I don't believe you, let's duel.
I'll show you real power. Let's go.
He does know this isn't Dragon Ball Z, right? Mental stability aside, Kaiba is so powerful right now that he chooses his entire deck without even looking at a scroll screen. Selected Kaiser Seahorse as his deck master, a monster I'm genuinely not sure if I've seen him use yet. I'm I actually can't remember right now. Since Noah talked for so long, Kaiba gets to go first, playing Giant German attack move. Before sending Crush card face down turn 1 because it's very important that that card gets destroyed immediately every time that it's used. Following such tradition, Noah begins his turn by summoning Chiron the Maid. Before the rest of the gang comes in hot from the top of the track, immediately landing on these sharp jagged rocks instead of the boiling hot lava below.
Be careful, Kaiba! Yugi!
Yugi, you don't even know what's going on yet. I can't make another Inuyasha joke. It's been like 5 episodes. Unfortunately for Seto, Chiron has a back row pop effect that they take way too long to explain for some reason. Destroying his Crush card before losing him 800 life points on attack on Giant Germ. Entering on his next turn by sacrificing it for Vampire Lord, nearly finishing off all of Dark Crisis. Seto destroys the mage and then gets super happy because he has to force Vampire Lord's effect. Send another monster from Noah's deck to the graveyard because that's definitely not a completely beneficial effect since like 2005. Never mind that though, because like every protagonist on a show that uses cards that would never actually work in real life, Seto is not actually ready for Noah's next move. That one being a simple destruction card called Fissure, destroying the Vampire Lord and leaving him wide open for a direct attack by this basic bitch monster called Ears or Eurus or something. But what really matters is that Kaiba's losing to a strong deck with just good beaters and simple destruction cards.
I'd rather see my company crumble to the ground than fall into your grubby little hands.
Is it bad that I feel exactly the same way as an egotistical, maniacal character that's exaggerated on a cartoon? Nah. Seto summons Slate Warrior to the field alongside his Vampire Lord because for some reason this duel has maximum beatdown monsters on both sides. Declaring an attack on Noah with a Vamp Lord before being interrupted by the Earthshaker trap card. Seto chooses the Vamp Lord to be the victim of this card as it will just come back next turn anyway. Yeah, maybe not. All before Slate Warrior attacks the Jobber monster with no name, leaving Noah nearly 2,000 life points ahead of his opponent. Might want to get used to that.
The magic card, Giant Blood.
What the fuck? The episode ends with my jaw on the literal fucking floor that a card exists that sends all monsters on the field and in our hands to the graveyard. Oh, apparently it actually affects monsters that were in the graveyard as well, removing them from play even though that's not also listed on the broken ass card description. Also, by the way, here's my deck master. It's an Arc. Did you know that some of them are overpowered? Well, that's it for this episode. I want to thank you all for watching. Of course, I shout out to all my channel members and patrons. If any of you actually figure out what kind of drugs Taya was on at the beginning of this episode, all I ask is, please send me some. This has been the man from Earth with all the girth, ladies and gentlemen. Be the character you know you're worth. See ya. But what doesn't take too long to explain is Joey's everlasting desire to beat the smat. Meet the smat, really? Too bad for him this small child bought the lost pop. Destroying the Crush card virus before losing 800 before destroying late. I'm fucking garbage.